When I was in 5th grade, I really started exploring the internet. I spent hours browsing websites, and I was astonished by what I found. There was a rich world of blogs, websites, and people claiming various things, and among them, conspiracy theories. I spent hours reading them, and I was fascinated by what I found. You know, there are all these secretive societies which were really controlling the world behind the scenes, and no one even knew, just the few guys on the internet. Or at least that's what I thought when I was 10 years old. These conspiracy theories spanned all the ranges. They talked about various events, groups, and many people. And they always had an explanation, which is something I could not find elsewhere. Over time, my interest subsided because some people explained to me that these things are not right. I realized that people would sometimes just make things up to sound interesting on the internet. And so I stopped reading these things, and I was no longer interested. But then they made a huge comeback in my life. But this time it was not me seeking them out, but rather them finding me. You know, we suddenly moved into the era of alternative facts, where conspiracy theories shape the national news, and they make the headlines. Why has this happened, and what can we do about it? Those are some of the key challenges we now face. For this, we must first understand how conspiracy theories work. And we must understand that they are not a modern phenomenon, despite the recent increase in their use and in the severity of their impacts. Take the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, for example. They were a conspiracy theory published in 1903 in the Tsarist Russia. It alleged that a group of Jewish elites controlled the world. It was proven over time that this anti-Semitic piece of writing was actually fabricated for certain propaganda, for certain usage in propaganda, but that didn't stop it from spreading. It got lots of popularity in Russia, and then it was translated in many languages and influenced events in Europe. It was used by the Nazis and the Italian fascists as a proof of the fact that their supposed enemies are evil. It was used by many other groups for their own political gains. And incredibly, more than 100 years after it was first written, it is still used by many anti-Semitic groups in the Middle East, who still claim that the things written there are true, and that this is a proof for their ideology. Now, this conspiracy theory was debunked in the 1920s by several British newspapers. But we must understand that this did not stop it from spreading. Why was this so? Well, for this, I would like to return to me when I was 10, and when I got into the world of conspiracy theories. You see, the way they work is that they explain complicated things, and events in the current world are extremely complicated. It is now beyond the capacity of any single human to understand what's happening, to even process all the information that's coming at us. And that's why it is great to have something that suddenly explains it all, that connects seemingly random things into a grand scheme. Because in these theories, we can find a certain purpose for the way things are. Even though we might disagree with them or we might not like them, we still see why they are the way they are. Another reason why conspiracy theories are so popular is that they give people a sense of control. When something terrible, like 9/11 or other terrorist attacks happen, it seems completely random, and it seems like it is beyond our control or anything that we can do to stop this. However, once we create the conspiracy theory, the random events suddenly have a meaning behind them. And it now seems like we can change things. even though before they were completely outside the realms of what we can do. For these two reasons, conspiracy theories get under the skin of people who read them. Because they provide them with something that becomes a part of their identity. And it gives them a meaning in life to a certain extent. We must keep this in mind when we try to debunk them or to prove them wrong. Because simple argumentation usually won't help. Remember the British newspapers would explain how the protocols of Zion were wrong. Yet they did nothing to stop their spread and their influence. When we want to persuade someone that the conspiracy theory they are believing is wrong, we must start with small steps. We must first acknowledge that their belief can be valid. Because if we dismiss it right away, or if we tell them that they are simply stupid, or that their belief is wrong, this only reinforces it. Because we are seen as not someone who would reason with them or who would try to persuade them, but just as someone who doesn't like them and who doesn't even understand the conspiracy theory or their beliefs. After we acknowledge them, we must try to build a dialogue, and this can be extremely frustrating. Believe me, over the past few years I tried it many times, and many times I failed. I simply got enraged by the other person's seeming inability to understand my logical points, or by how viciously they stuck with their theory and how they defended it, even though it was plainly wrong or even ridiculous. Yet even in these situations we cannot get angry, or we cannot mock the person, because again this will only seem disrespectful from our side, and it will only harm our cause. Instead, questions help. We must make them question their beliefs, because that is the only way how they can change their minds. We must provide them with facts, but not all of them at the same time, because this would only confuse the people. Instead, we must go step by step and reduce their beliefs to nothing, but only over time. This way, we can finally persuade someone that conspiracy theories are wrong, and that events in our world can truly be the consequences of random and complicated events, and that not everything is in our control. And given how conspiracy theories help the rise of extremism, populism, and hatred in this world, this is a crucial mission. I think we should all learn more about how we can embark on it. Thank you.